Welcome, my friends, to the world of the Salisbury organist. If you've never tuned in before, the purpose of this channel is very simple. All I want to do is bring you the sounds of beautiful, historic village church organs and show you the surroundings of the buildings in which they're located. Sometimes the organs are unplayable, they're often unplayed, they're often out of tune, but they can still be made to sound beautiful. Last week I visited the church of St Mary's in Lover. It's unquestionably the most romantic village in England, if not the world, and I visited at the perfect time, just after Valentine's Day. I also have some extremely important announcements later on in this video which concern you. But first of all, I hope you enjoy some wedding-themed music from this wonderful, picturesque Victorian church. I hear people, but I haven't actually seen anyone. It must be an extremely quiet day in the village of Lover. Two things which immediately catch my attention. First of all, the ticking of the church clock. But secondly, and most importantly today, this wonderful array of decorations. There was a service here recently called Celebrating Love in Lover, and I am thrilled that the decorations are still here for you all to see. It's wonderful. This is a Victorian building. It was built in 1837, and it's almost completely unchanged. The darkest, most mystical part of this church, the chancel. And this space seems to have an acoustic of its own, set apart from the main church. One feature I've noticed of Victorian churches is they're always very bright and welcoming places. No shortage of light in here, even on an overcast day. There was a pop-up post office here this week for Valentine's Day, where people can get their post stamped Lover. This is a beautiful instrument. It's clearly been looked after, clearly well loved. It has two keyboards and stops on the right and the left. The stops on the right control the lower keyboard. So if you pull one out, it allows air to enter some of the pipes to produce a particular sound. And if you layer different sounds, you can produce different tone qualities on the pipe organ. So that's the right-hand side, which is called the grate. The same process on the left, the swell. The reason it's called the swell is because the pipes for that particular keyboard are inside a box above the organ. When you open and close the box, it makes the sound louder or softer. And to control the shutters on the box, we have a swell pedal. One mechanical quirk of this organ is I've noticed that the swell box closes itself. It doesn't stay open. So I have a cunning plan to fix that. And it uses just one single technical device, an old hymn book. You can probably already hear by the volume of that ticking clock up there that there is a wonderful acoustic in this church. I'll have no problem producing a beautifully projected sound on this organ. In fact, the instrument here is just a perfect complement to this bright, airy and cheerful space, and there's one piece to demonstrate that. In some churches, I use the cello test to demonstrate whether the open diapason sounds like a lovely, smooth and sombre cello, but that was what I call the Vidor test, and it's only available to certain village church organs. This one included. It's interesting, we have two pedal stops, a Lieblich bourdon and a grand bourdon. They're both the same pitch, both very low, but one is louder than the other one. It's quite a luxury in a village church. This plaque on the side of the organ says, "To the glory of God and in loving memory of Jane Barbara Morrison, June the 24th, 1907. And just above the swell keyboard, we have the builder's name, Sweetland Organ Building Company of Bath. Very appropriate given the stone that this building is constructed of. This is clearly an instrument of recital quality, but first and foremost, it was produced to accompany hymns. And how about one of the best ever to be sung at weddings? Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. Now, I said I had some important announcements to make before I play the final piece today, which I know you'll love. Okay, the first announcement is that I'm growing a beard, so just for fun. Announcement number 2, you must follow me on my new Instagram page. The reason I've set it up is so I can keep you updated with my movements throughout the week and give you a preview of the churches that I'm visiting. It's also a great way of showing some really cool, vivid photos of these churches. Third, I command you, you must subscribe to this channel. Because if you subscribe to it, YouTube spreads my work to a wider audience. Subscribing doesn't cost a penny, and it also keeps you completely up to date with my videos. In fact, next week, I'm visiting the church of Fuggleston St. Peter. Do you remember that one? The George Herbert Church. I'm meeting the vicar there, and we're going to try and see if we can get the organ to work. He happens to be an organist as well, so it's going to be really fun, and I hope in a few videos' time I'll have a proper video ready from that church where I can play Let All the World in Every Corner Sing, King of Glory, King of Peace, on that wonderful hand-pumped organ. My brother Billy will be coming with me to do the pumping. And finally, do remember that this has to be financially viable. It's a massive risk doing what I'm doing. It's a risk being a musician in the first place. As Thomas Hardy put it, music is a poor staff to lean on. So I'd be grateful for any support that you can give by clicking on the PayPal link beneath this video. And finally, you're about to hear, to me unquestionably, the most beautiful piece of wedding music ever. I truly loved playing the organ in the village of Lover. This instrument was so romantic, so expressive, it was like nothing I'd played before, and as you can tell from the recordings, the acoustic is just magnificent in the church. So, until next time, which will be sooner because I've already filmed the next video, have a great week and I wish you all well.